with myself, Upiwe, Amanda Wakwadziba, and that is Lady P to you. Kodwa ke ndiyamijejwa.
I'm about the one and the only.
What's going on namhlanje? Mental health day, Betuna.
So it's going down. It's going down. But I'm both the one and the only. Emma, that was KY. Kumis cake. Ukanti ke nathi asihambi sedwa. Siyama nosisi apha. A very gorgeous lady rather. And Zomnika ke naye in due time. As introduce. Oba ungubani wakwabani. What does she do? And kutheni lapha?
Over to you, Gesis.
Oh, sorry. Good afternoon, ladies. Hi, Lady P and Miss K. GAUSHE. I am a mental health activist. I work with the young people mostly, and I'm just passionate about mental health, especially in the Black community context, and this is why I still love community.
Most definitely. Ndiyayithandela ndisithi ke khulula earlier on we had a conversation sincokola about into as mental health. Xa sizidibanisa nathi bantu abamnyama siyathanda ukuzibhekelisa kakhulu sithi ke zizinto esingaziqhelanga. Namhlanje wena mphulaphuli bangabe ke mungayazi, it is World Mental Health Day. Hence we have IKHO coming in and just giving us a brief description bangabe ke yintoni na mental health and how does it actually affect us. And also the theme ya kulo nyaka is that our minds and our rights. Yintoni mental health? Jay, in brief, what is mental health?
Okay, so mental health is basically your mental well-being, ingqondo yakho, emotionally, and just how you are mentally, and the emotions zakho and stuff like that. So usuku namhlanje is just put aside to educate around mental illnesses, the importance of keeping your mental health in check. Mind your mind, as in you must be cautious, okay, you must be intentional about uzimamela and just trying to figure out unjani and how you're coping with things and how you are and how things are affecting you. Those things are very important. So Sugla Namklanje is just put aside to educate and just to decrease the stigma around mental illnesses and around mental health, because it's very discrimination and stigma around mental health is very big, especially in the Black community, because the education and advocating for that is which is why I decided to pursue a career in psychology. So Sukla namhlanje is just to remind abantu uba kubalulekile uba ube well mentally, kubalulekile uba ube well emotionally, and if you're not, it's okay. We're here for you, and it is important that as a society we try and find indlela to hold each other and to show up for each other and to show up for ourselves most importantly.
Okay. Love the fact that you very much highlight, obviously, the importance of understanding and acknowledging mental health is something that really exists even in our Black communities, and the importance of us, therefore, to teach each other, to educate each other. And I think mostly Abandu Abadala, even in our community, are one of Abandu that are at the top, Abandu that really need to be exposed to information regarding mental health and what it is actually, because umzali ufumaniseka uba mhlawumbi into yobana understand why uzozivalela ekamereni wedwa, like hayibo sihleli thina edining room and uyozivalela ekamereni yintoni. Do you understand? And it becomes like a drama when you do that. But I think it's because of the lack of understanding and lack of knowledge into what is actually that I'm going through, and therefore it is up to us, even as abantu that are in these platforms, to actually put out the information out there, and also mental health activists to put out the information out there. In fact, what is mental health in general, and what is it to us as well?
So I didn't get your question.
No, it's not a question. It was not a question. I think I was just expanding also on the fact that you highlighted the importance, yes, the importance of educating ourselves, and also generally making a point, no matter what team we are aware of, where are we mentally, you know?
You know, when you mentioned Lando Itiba, let's show up for ourselves. I think it's something that we as individuals, and we're constantly focusing on amanya band to a point whereby you find mental health deteriorating kakhulu. Manje uzibuza, "Kutheni ndinengxaki? Why am I constantly, ndifuna uzivalela," like Miss K has mentioned. Now, Iko, I want to find out, you work with a lot of young adults, zeziphi
Yes.
mhlawumbi ii-cases ezinintsi oye ufumanise ukuba ngaba ke zinintsi, like it's something that's in common uva hayi makuthiwe unengxaki enye no-Miss K, what are those cases especially that deal with mental health, zeziphi zona ezinintsi?
With mostly young people, especially the ones that I work with. We know, like you're a young adult, and COVID hit, and our economy is rather very shaky. So there's a lot of anxiety and uncertainty around our future. So you'll find that people are anxious, like you're very anxious about how am I going to cope? Am I going to be successful? Those type of things, right? And then ezinye izinto are traumas, like traumatic childhoods. You'll find that adults are actually very traumatized, and the trauma comes from ukhula kwabo, whether it be absent parents or abusive parents or uphuma kwamakhaya, that like a lot of things happen. So just traumatic childhoods. Socioeconomy also plays a big role in that, and yeah, and you'll understand that e-topics is a mental health, and health facilities are not accessible to people of our communities. Finding a psychologist is very expensive. You'll probably need medical aid for that, and you'll find that in black communities, like in our communities, people can't afford basic health. So mental health is not going to be a priority. Yabo. So I think I like Jimenez and Jena just to remind people that it's okay and that there is help. But there is help. There are organizations that offer free help and stuff like that. So as well as that I'd say for young adults, or your anxieties, your depression, um, your bipolar, yeah, there's quite a lot.
Also, I think amongst that you're mentioning that are very prevalent age group here, I'll say, meaning young adults, teenagers as well. You do mention like anxiety, depression, and so forth. Those are some of the prevalent cases or prevalent mental health issues that you come across and deal with. I know obviously every case, every other case is different, and every other individual is different. But how do you normally advise bands that are actually dealing with some of Izindo that we experience as obviously form of mental health disorders, being it depression, being it anxiety? What are some of the things that are at the top of the list that you advise Ndobalake citizens, if by all means possible, to try and keep everything under control, you know?
Okay, so I'm not a qualified psychologist yet, ne?
I know.
So now I just support you to get to the necessary
Yeah.
help that you need and the aftercare of that. Because I worked with school kids. So if I see that okay, here we can work with it, okay, yeah. But most important, even with young adults, like because we do have friends that suffer from mental illnesses. We suffer from illnesses. We have family members that suffer from illnesses. But Eonando is to get help, whatever help it is that you need, get help. Because if you get a therapist, if you go to therapy, they'll be able to diagnose and they'll able to help you. They'll be able to help you accordingly. Go to counseling. There's Indow that offer free counseling, like Full Lifeline South Africa. They've got a free line. They've got a website even. It's in because I don't want to do free advertising. Um, but there's quite a lot. Like Aonando is like self care. Self care looks like your therapy, your journaling, asking for help. If things get overwhelming, delegate. Like but you've got radio today, but hit up pure. I'm not doing well. I won't be able to come in. Tell them A, B, and C, what you're supposed to do. Um, do self affirmations. Those things are so important. And the problem is that we're probably all going through things like it's a lot. Life is a lot, especially as a young adult. So it's important that you don't make it a priority that you rely on people that are around you. We lean on people, but now we're trying to create a space for yourself that is a safe space, a space where you can sit with yourself. But then it's always important to partner up with a mental health care professional, whether it be your counselor or your psychologist, where if there's an emergency, we'll be able to hit them up. Have a journal, ask for help. Ask for help. That is the main thing I emphasize is for you to ask for help and just mind your mind. Also, it's important to set boundaries because if I'm not in a good space, then I won't be any good to anyone. So if you're feeling well, be able to say to a friend, no friend, I can't hold space for you. I can't be there for you at this point because now I'm not well. And it should be a thing where we as friends, I won't be offended if you say, no, IKHO, I won't be able to listen to because I won't be able to be there for you because I'm not fine myself. Those are the things that we should be normalizing in families, in friendship, and in things like that. When there boundaries, but okay, Saturday mornings is my self-care day. I go to therapy. I do izinto that are going to make me feel well emotionally and mentally.
Yho, ngathi uchukumisa izandla mntakabawo. Kuba xa bemnqwala ngaphakathi ndathetha nam ke le mba set boundaries.
I'm not trying to fetch you, my sister, but we're here to educate each other.
Yho, hayi jonga namhlanje ingathi iphuma nam ilesini mna bethuna ngathi ndiva ndihlala kunoti ndijonga lesson learned. And
I think also, maybe I think it's really very important because we neglect ourselves because we really want to be there for the next person, and therefore you end up getting to a point where you are nonchalant about and your well-being because you want to be there for the next person. You end up now going back to what we once spoke about. We pour into other people's cups without allowing ourselves to be filled, by either what we do or by the next person, because naturally we also need our cups to be filled at some point. We need to sit back and actually allow our cups to be filled as well. So when you're constantly filling the next person's cup, yours is going to run dry.
And I always say, because I work with young people, and young people are quite fragile. They're fragile. A lot happens in their lives. But I always say that if I'm not fine emotionally, I'm not going to be any good to the next person. So you're not always going to get it right, and that's okay. But just build a routine, build a space for yourself that allows. And when you're not in a good space and you're not doing that well, also give yourself space and give yourself credit. But okay, I didn't do well. Okay, we'll pick ourselves from now on. We'll do better from now onwards. Give yourself grace. That's another thing. So it's quite important to just hold space for us, man, because we hold space for other people. We're so lenient, we're so forgiving, but we struggle to do that for ourselves. Pure no.
Yo, I don't lunch.
So I got triggered. If you know, triggered.
I feel as if for this interview, I think in a producer actually, because hingathi sana kuthethwa nam I've but back to reality also, man, quick one. We need to also stop having mental health problems. It can be schizophrenia, it can be you've got anxiety, you've got depression. It's say, oh, I wasn't, but that's something I honestly, oh, it frustrates me so much because on a daily basis, the battles that they're fighting individually. Miss K always brighter, glowing. And I think that's something that I also have to highlight. Guys, we are carrying so many things inside that we do not talk about. Sinqumo okokoko, siyahleka, nibe ningayazi uba ngaba ke kwenzeka ntoni na. Ubone ngamanye amaxesha asuchiphichiphize bathroom, but you can't because saziwa singaba basasazi, basterke, cannot
Can
know
we
how we
can we
said.
normalize crying in public spaces? Like, guys, can it be
Please.
normalized? Because I
And
find myself in mall and I'm like they're coming up, the tears are coming, but I'm in public, so I can't. So can we just try to make it a thing that in public spaces, if the tears come, it's fine. Because at that
Let
moment
them
I'm not
come.
feeling okay and it's fine.
Yeah, yeah. And also, I think that's when you can literally get a stranger to be when it's normalized. You can now get a stranger to come up to you to actually maybe give you a hug to come.
soze ke explain it dead air kwelaqala njani. Ikho, can you
Never.
hear us?
Yes, now yeah. Also your
We
mic
can
is on.
Yes, we can hear you properly, Tina, but it's like ncoko.
can
Oh,
you
I
hear
can
me?
hear. I couldn't hear you then when your camera was off.
Oh, I can not back on. I am definitely back on. I'm back like I never left. Ah,
Welcome back, Sana.
yes. Miss K earlier on, she gave us numbers is the vital kakhulu that one can actually be in contact with, whether mhlawumbi zinombolo ze-depression, uzive ngathi akho right, unokhawuleza ufowunele ukuze ndizawucela mani kwakhona uba ngaba aphinda sincede ngazo.
All right, all right. And for you, I will definitely be giving you guys numbers and actually contacts that you can contact, be it a lifeline, be it the depression line. Just give me a moment.
Oh, yes. And also, if you have just joined the conversation, I'm planning to get in a World Mental Health Day, and it is the 10th of the 10th month, 1010. And we're definitely focusing on our mental health because at the end of the day, it needs to give us a 10. Mangam again, I'm planning to see that mental health pack was on a 2 or on a 5. It's okay, my love, because what we're happy about is that you have tried. No, okay? Ikona into oyenzile. And Miss K, over to you.
Alrighty, so we do have the depression line, which is 0800 121314. That is the depression line. It is 0800 1213 and 14. The suicide line is 0800 567567. Suicide line again, 0800 567567. And the mental health line, it is 011 2344 837. Mental health line 011 2344 837. And then the rape line is 02144 Again, 02144
Baluleke kakhulu eza nombolo. Thank you so much, Miss K. IKHO xa sizayivala sicela uyiqukumbele usinike ke umphako wethu officially wanamhlanje we-World Mental Health.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I genuinely like having these talks because I think mental health is so important and its importance is so underrated. But yeah, but if you're not feeling confident today, if you're not feeling okay, if you haven't figured out uba kwenzeka ntoni ngawe, that's okay. Don't be hard on yourself. Be kind to yourself. Extend kindness to yourself. Most importantly, seek help. Yeah, seek help. Partner up with people that will hold you accountable. for taking care of yourself. Surround yourself with kind people.
Yes.
Be kind to yourself, be kind to other people, and may we be a society that
Oh, nayi bo, njani njani
um,
kaloku sana sisaqhubela kamnandi. Oh yes,
oh
you're back on. Yes.
yes, I'm back. May we be a society, may we be friends, may we be parents that support each other, that do not discriminate against those that are suffering. Most importantly, may we be a society that educates ourselves and each other about these issues so that we may be able to have those uncomfortable, those uneasy conversations, so that at the end of the day, we may be a society that facilitates healing and that advocates for better mental health. Yeah, but happy mental health day, ladies, and
Oh, thank
I hope
you.
today, I hope this was not too heavy for you guys, but yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank
Thank you
you
so
for
much.
joining us. Siyabulela kakhulu. My goodness, that was a handful, in fact, and more than anything, it was amazing. I do not want to lie.
And I think the emphasis on a lot of things that I would say, Mana, they sound cliche, but they're very important and very crucial for us to be kind to the next person, and also for us to be kind to ourselves and take care of ourselves.
Guys, make it better. That's what we're definitely focusing on. All right, and thank you so much. That was IKHO GAUSHE. She is a mental health activist, and she's also currently still studying psychology. Yakhe into endiyithanda is that usaqhubekeka ngayo zange ayeke unceda abantu abanjengathi abantu ke abafuna ukuba ngaba ke bakhuphele inomntu ozobamamela kakuhle. Thank you so much, man, to everyone for joining us. The name for me is Piwe Amanda Wakatsiba, and that is Lady P to you.
Am I that was K, right?